A very good talk show host many years ago used to do really well with the top 10. I don't have a drum roll, but I can promise you that these 10 things, if you can look into them and understand them, write them down. Food is fuel. There is a direct correlation and connection between your stomach, your digestion, and your microbiome. Look it up. The microbiome is connected to your mental health because your microbiome, your stomach down in there, helps produce all these wonderful antidepressive chemicals. You can look them all up. We produce them in our brain, we produce them in our glands, we produce them in the microbiome, but we know that there is a connection between food, mental health, and attitude. It is much easier to have a great attitude about exercise when you've fueled yourself. Hey team, Coach Mcauliffe here. The E.A.R.N IT podcast is off and running, helping bring free content to people everywhere in the cyberspace. And it is my contribution to the world and the collection of data, the collection of experiences I believe can help anybody. When I put together the E.A.R.N IT pillars for my program here at the gym, when I opened 10 years ago on my sign, exercise, attitude, recovery, and nutrition, E.A.R.N IT has become a way of life. And I look at the acronym, it's easy to remember. And I think as time goes on, it will be easy for people to come here because they remember, every day I'm gonna earn my health. Every day I'm gonna earn my performance if I focus on these 4 things. Every day, you're gonna get your way. What's most important, though, is for me to first dedicate this episode to my sports psychology instructor from college, Dr. Rob Gilbert, the man who changed it all, the man who got me to understand what the attitude will do. So we're starting with attitude and mental health. They go hand in hand. It is the most important thing for a healthy high performer is your attitude. And I have to say off the bat, if any of you are struggling with your mental health, thinking about suicide, dial 988, go to the Department of Health. Lifeline is a fantastic resource, and get some help. I'm here to help, not as a psychological counselor, but as a health coach, a confidant, a mentor, a leader, someone who loves kids, who loves the families that are in my facility and around this Jersey Shore conference that I'm so proud to be a part of. Take care of your brain, and it will help you attain a positive attitude of gratitude. I'm a day-to-day coach. I believe in winning the day. Yesterday are learning experiences, and for some people, yesterday is guilt. I should have, I would have, I could have, I missed that workout, I missed that meal, I had bad sleep. Those are things we can call upon and learn from to win the day, one day at a time. And then the future, tomorrow, is something that we plan. So less anxiety will come your way if you have a good plan, but you can't be too anxious about what happens tomorrow. Oftentimes, I think about the way that I approach attitude in the gym, and we are very, very clear that we can handle today and now in preparation for tomorrow. Because that big match that's gonna happen on Saturday, fellas, that's 48 hours away. A lot of my wrestlers are getting ready and tuning up for some big weekend tournaments coming up, districts, regions, states. And I always tell them on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, worry about today. What am I doing today to take care of myself? So, attitude. Where does it come from? What is it? To me, when I look at my attitude, it really has to do with my internal voice. It's your internal voice that will dictate your attitude. We have millions of wonderful quotes and inspirational stories we can access online every day, right? We have lots of these things that we can bring into our lives, a motivational pep talk from a coach. All of those things are reaffirmations. But if your self-dialogue is negative, pessimistic, depressive, anxious, if that dialogue is not positive, then there are ways we can change it. You see, when I awaken in the morning, I got gratitude, baby. I'm awake. I'm alive. Oh my God, I live to see another day. With everything that happens in this world today, an attitude of gratitude, no matter what, has helped me live a blessed, charmed life. The attitude of gratitude for life, I believe, is a foundation of having a good attitude for your health, a good attitude for your performance as an athlete or performance in industry or whatever you want to perform at, whether it's your hobby, whether, again, are you a professional athlete or you're just someone that likes to play pickleball on the weekends and not end up in the emergency room, like I've seen a few of my friends. Taking care of your brain, taking care of your mental health is paramount because positive mental attitude is earned. It's not just given to you. It's not something that just happens. Yes, there are kids that come in here that tend to be happy. There are kids that come in here that tend to be, I'm not going to say sad, but they tend to be a little on the quiet and the shy and the introverted side. It doesn't mean they're not positive. Positive attitude is going to deliver you a high altitude in life. And you'll see, the Super Bowl is this weekend, and you're going to see the winners talking about their attitude during the game when things get tough, how their attitude helped them get out of sticky situations. I know in my life, I have a story. It's not all championships and medals, folks. My story has tragedy. It has death. It has devastation, bankruptcy. I built up a dream gym many years ago that had to close and go bankrupt. It was the toughest time in my life. I had a child on the way. I had just lost my father. We'll talk one day about 2008. But never, ever, ever was my attitude more important than those periods of time where I got up out of bed every day, no matter how bad things were going. And you know what? I get to help kids. I help communities. My passion and my mission helped my attitude, helped my mental health get through that. And speaking of mental health, I have to put down, before we talk about my top 10 things that are going to help you, I have to tell you and share my story that I have been successfully in mental health counseling, family health counseling, working with social workers for more than 30 years. Back in college, I had demons. I was a young man who went awry. I got in a lot of fights. Alcohol used to affect me in a very nasty way. And I hope anybody listening to this, if I ever hurt you, I apologize from the bottom of my heart, because that's not who I am. I am a tough guy, but I am also a love guy. I believe in love over hate. And unfortunately, as a youngster, my demons were so intense. I was so competitive, ravenous to win the titles, that my anger and poor attitude led me down a dark path. Until I met Dr. Nathan Salant, who has passed away, and I can use his name now, I know. Doc, I had learned how to control the beast. This man was a Princeton tenured professor who loved to bench. That was our common ground. We had a relationship. I can promise you this, that all of the therapists that I have seen since, I got connected to. I had good relationships with. Dr. Salant knew I had to travel to Princeton. This man gave me 3 office hours. He's one of the most sought after guys in Princeton, on his Saturdays for a few months, and helped me with my demons. And we did some really, really good work together as patient to therapist. Being your own health care advocate will help any of your mental issues or periods. There's no person in here who hasn't had tough times in their life, that hasn't gone through this word depression. It's part of us. Anxiety, part of us. All of the things that can happen to you are going to affect your brain. So I firmly believe in counseling and therapy, especially today now. Kids are in crisis. Unfortunately, in America now, we have more young people on antidepressive medication and on suicide watch than ever before. It is almost, to me, an epidemic that doesn't get talked about enough. You gotta take care of the brain for everything else to be better. You don't have to be this bright, shiny, enthusiastic strength coach like me. However, I firmly believe in a life well lived has more to do with positivity and love and feeling good about yourself and feeling good about the human that you are and being around people. Surround yourself with people that love you, that you love, and you love taking care of. Try, if you really want to feel good about yourself and maybe you're down in the dumps, go feed the homeless, go volunteer, go donate some clothes, do something for someone else. That's a good way to get out of the doldrums, okay? But I can promise you, finding a therapist is a very good idea. You can find them online. I mentioned 988, a crisis line. But I can promise you there's no taboo against it. If you hurt your elbow, you go to a physical therapist. I have been through lots of good physical therapy in my life, and it's life-changing. Good therapy. I now, as an exercise therapist, help tons of people overcome adversity. When people get surgery, are they depressed after? Absolutely they are. Are they down in the dumps? Absolutely they are. Movement's medicine and exercise is therapy, and it is definitely in my top 10 things that are going to help you. My top 10 tips to a healthy mentality. A very good talk show host many years ago used to do really well with the top 10. I don't have a drum roll, but I can promise you that these 10 things, if you can look into them and understand them, write them down. We'll put them up for you in the notes of the show. I'm gonna get good at this YouTube thing about giving good notes for you, posting good things on Instagram and Facebook to be able to give you just some bullet points as a starting map. Like I said, I'm not a therapist, but I have to agree in my top 10. Dr. Andrew Huberman would agree, and I'm a big fan, Doc. You put out some amazing stuff for the world. That's sleep. Remember I said I am a day guy, win the day. So think about these two scenarios. Up late, homework didn't get, your computer crashed, you couldn't get your homework in, you couldn't get to sleep, you wake up after maybe 5-6 hours. 8 is the magic number. You wake up and the alarm wakes you up and, oh man, I gotta get up, I gotta finish this. Oh man, it's dark, it's cold, it's rainy. Oh man, the misery of waking up for some people can be fixed by fixing your sleep. So to me, the day really begins when the last day ends. So fixing your sleep, investigating sleep hygiene is a critical factor for your mental health. And again, neuroscientists like Andrew Huberman agree. And you can look Doc up. He's got wonderful research to cite. I'm less gonna cite research, I'm more gonna cite experience. When my clients fix their sleep, magically strength goes up, magically performance goes up, magically body fat goes down, muscle goes on, all these wonderful things occur, because I promise, I have tried every recovery tool known to man. I've been at the recovery game since I learned about the Russian techniques when I was in college many moons ago. Listening to waterfalls and classical music many, many years ago. The Russians were the leaders in weightlifting for me a long time ago. And really good practitioners studied their techniques on why they were killing us outside of some of their different tactics with nutrition and supplementation. Okay, but outside of that, their recovery tools, the cold plunges, saunas, hot tubs, massages, cupping, hypervolting massage sticks, foam rollers, hypervolt. Did I say that twice? Because I love it. I use all these tools, but I will tell you 100%, if you're on a budget, and let's say you can't afford to buy a $300 hypervolt, mine was a gift from one of my clients. I do a good job. Sometimes I get presents. It's wonderful. Best present I think I ever got from a client was my hypervolt. But if you can't afford any of these expensive tools, okay, sleep is the end all be all. It is absolutely the king or queen of recovery, restoration, and putting yourself in the right place to wake up before your alarm, like I did today. I can't wait for my guy to get here so I can share my years of experience, so I can do this podcast on 1 cup of coffee. I didn't need 2 today. I woke up, I hydrated, I got outside, I looked at that sun coming up, and I was like, it's gonna be a great day. I got up before my alarm. If you can train yourself to get up before that alarm, you have really done great work with sleep. So many things help your sleep. Read about sleep hygiene. Look at your room, look at your pillow, look at your bed, look at your covers, look at what you do before bed. I can promise you, you'll get better night's sleep when you shut your electronics down an hour or 2 before. But again, this is for another podcast. We're talking about mental health, so look it up. Let's get going with sleep. Okay, so we've awakened, and let's just say we're the good guy. Like me this morning, we awakened. Now what we must do is fuel our day. I have podcasting, then I have a workout, then I have a chiropractic appointment, then I'm going to read, then I'm going to do a little bit of yoga and stretching before my afternoon of clients gets going. I have my plan for the day. Food is fuel. There is a direct correlation and connection between your stomach, your digestion, and your microbiome. Look it up. The microbiome is connected to your mental health because your microbiome, your stomach down in there, helps produce all these wonderful antidepressive chemicals. You can look them all up. We produce them in our brain. We produce them in our glands. We produce them in the microbiome. Some scientists might say exactly where. But we know that there is a connection between food and mental health and attitude. It is much easier to have a great attitude about exercise when you've fueled yourself. I have kids that I know will come in and they forgot breakfast. They did maybe a sugary coffee drink. I'm not going to bring out a brand because there's good and bad players in the coffee world. Okay, there's good and bad actors everywhere. I've learned that. I am not going to savagely attack one brand versus the other. However, if you are fueling your morning with sugar and coffee and carbohydrates, and you grab a sugary thing before school, then in about 2 hours, that attitude is gonna change because your blood sugar wreaks havoc on your energy. And your energy will definitely dictate your attitude going into an exam or a class or something, certainly for exercise and certainly for a game. For the game of life, which is so important to a lot of us. There's a lot of adults that'll be listening to this cast. They're gonna try to jump off that hamster wheel of unhealthy lifestyle. They're gonna jump off that hamster wheel. Food is fuel for a good, healthy attitude and energy to do things. So I will say with food, and again, I have another podcast just for food, but I can promise you this. If you eat less processed food over processed food coming from packages and bags and cartons, your mental health's gonna be better because there's less chemicals bombarding your brain that are digested in your stomach. They wreak havoc with your gut. Processed foods will lead to poor mental health and poor attitude. The more natural foods that you eat, the better your stomach will like you and the better that your brain, you're taking care of that brain so you can have a good attitude. You're procreating this good attitude, okay? Fresh air, sunlight, earthing, grounding. I hope that you expose yourself to Mother Nature every day in some way. We know that exposure to early morning sunlight before you can get any of the sun's damaging rays, we know that if you can get, oh, the sun was beautiful this morning. I got a good 10 minutes. I close my eyes, I look into the sun, and I am getting beautiful sunlight for vitamin D and all these other things, but most important, for the circadian rhythm. When you want to fix your sleep, fix the circadian rhythm. Early morning sunlight can help you fix that. And I am a firm believer. My sleep has improved so much in the last couple of years because I've been embracing early morning sun and late afternoon sun. I haven't used sunblock in a while, and I haven't burned, and I still have a nice color in my face. I didn't tan yesterday, but you can see that I did get some good early morning sunlight on my face, and I'm telling you, it just feels good. Getting fresh air into your lungs, getting the ground under your feet. There's a lot of scientific data that supports Mother Nature as a way to get feeling good mentally and giving you a good, fresh attitude. Number 4, movement, baby. Movement's medicine. You can move throughout your day and never join a gym and you will feel better mentally. You will have a better attitude when you are moving. I have a client who is getting her blood sugar in order right now. And it's unbelievable what 10 minutes of marching at her desk, she has a stand-up desk, what 10 minutes of marching after her meals is doing for her now. She's doing 10 minutes 3 times a day. She's getting 30 minutes of cardio. Then all of a sudden she wants to stretch a little bit at night. Movement is medicine. Exercise will get you fit. We know there's a connection between the brain and the muscle. And just feeling and squeezing your muscles against a resistance sends different signals to your brain that are antidepressive, that are the feel-good hormone producers. Lifting some weights or doing some resistance exercise, just flexing your muscles 10 times, feeling your muscles flexing. A lot of research is going into this, and I don't have a lab, except I have a gym, and I can promise you, people that lift weights regularly have a better attitude. Then there's training, because in movement, we have movement for health, exercise for fitness, and then there's training. Training for athletics, or for life, or for a hobby. If you play pickleball, you should train. You don't want to get hurt. Training in an athletic way. Be an athlete, even if you're not a competitive athlete. I promise you, the athletic training model, training the body as a movement system versus body parts, just going in and just working on your arms one day, I can promise you that training like an athlete will help you mentally. Because of the full body ideas, you're getting more of the good chemicals going in the brain. Unless you are a professional, let's say bodybuilder, who can go to the gym every day and hit it. But not a lot of people can do that. If you're training or exercising, you only need about 100 to 125 sessions a year, and movement should be daily. Every day, find a way to move. That's why we love walking so much for people who are suffering mentally. Walking in nature, big plus. A little bit of cold air up the nose, and man, we've got a good recipe to set you forth to help you feel better mentally. Stress management, understanding what you can control versus what you can't control. That's a tough one, because we all want to control our lives. We all want to control our friends and family a little bit. We want to convince them that what we say is true and what we say is right. This has been something that's been very tough for me because some of my clients over the years don't even want to help themselves. They'll come here and they will fail continuously, not because the exercise program is bad, is because they're not committed to helping themselves. If you're committed to getting a better attitude and getting mentally healthy, you need to understand what you can control, what you can't, and develop the wisdom to know the difference. It's very important to have that peace of mind. Rather than stress of mind, peace of mind. So stress management. There are lots and lots of cool meditation apps you can use. And just deep breathing is a stress management tool. 10 minutes, lie on the floor, get flat, breathe in through your nose 4 seconds, hold it a little bit, breathe out for a few seconds, 5 seconds. You do that for 10 minutes before you go to bed, you have a better shot at getting to sleep. And let's say during the day you're suffering from maybe a panic attack, try it. In yoga, they call it savasana. And I would be remiss if I didn't mention the value of yoga in my stress management program, because I think in my life now, I've really got a handle on my stress, okay? Stress will kill you if you don't address. So address the stress. Relationships in the village. We know that raising healthy, happy, productive children is the goal of a lot of parents. It takes a village, okay? So in the village of your life, if you're struggling mentally, and let's say you are looking for a counselor or looking for family, friends, coaches, mentors, you have to understand that your village will lead you in the right direction. You can search online for a therapist, but more importantly, I'll bet you some of your village might be able to steer you someone that you connect with. You want to make sure, if you want a lasting good relationship with a mental health professional, that you are referred by someone or something. And I have to mention our community, that I am getting involved with the local YMCA's Boys and Girls Club, because I believe that therapy can be very expensive. And the community-wise and Boys and Girls Club, there's thousands of them in America today. They're there for mental health counseling as well now. So these wonderful communities that have sports, they have family fitness programs, they have lots of things to help develop health and performance in life. So look to these organizations for help if you are struggling in this area. But your village is really going to be the area that helps you. If you are alone or isolated, you always will be welcome at the Y or a Boys and Girls Clubs. And you're certainly always welcome here at my dojo. How's this? ENT, eyes, ears, nose, throat, oral health. All of the health of these sensory things, these things we see, we smell, we taste, we hear, you have to understand how important they are in your mental health. We know that oral health is related to your gut biome. So if, let's say, you have some gum problems, you might have a gut biome problem. So fixing those gums can sometimes fix the gut biome, which helps your mental health. It's about building those chemicals, the dopamine, the serotonin, all of these cool chemicals. So your mouth, your oral health is important. Thanks, Dr. Huberman. But I love the eye. Boy, I'll tell you what, I'm getting new glasses this week. And when my eyes are, not my eyes are scratched, but when my glasses, because I beat them up, my glasses are on an awful lot as a coach, I get beat up. So when there's a scratch on it, I get irritated. Being irritated isn't good for you. Just being irritated, damn scratch. When you're driving, your vision, you want to have a clear windshield, my hearing. Ladies and gentlemen and people, I suffer from tinnitus. I have for a while, since the advent of my blood pressure problem many years ago after a bad car accident and some other personal relationships that, again, I'll go into later. But I have this ringing in my ears, which I have had to learn to manage. And now it's manageable. It's not keeping me up at night. It's not stressing me out. So ears, nose, throat, very important. Oral health, dental health, gut biome. Always think of your ENT and your mouth. Very important for mental health. Number 8. Spiritual grounding. I'm not going to get into my religion. However, I will tell you I am spiritual. I love going to my house of worship, and I pray every day, and I swear to you my faith has gotten me through some extremely tough, desperate times in my life. And I do have some friends who are agnostic, who don't believe in a higher power. Because, to me, it's more about spiritual health and grounding and having a belief in something that can't be measured. It can't be actually seen. It can't be heard. You can't hear the voice of God other than in your head. Whatever God is to you, or whatever spirit, or whatever gods that you like. There's so many wonderful, loving, caring, nurturing, I'm going to call them, yes, religions. But, is a religion a cult, or is a cult a religion? Cult is a very negative thing. But if you're in a place with about 50 to 100 people, and you're singing, and you're shaking hands, and you're smiling, and you're together, and you're positive, and you're looking just to be grateful to be alive and have faith in the plan. If you're taking care of your day, I firmly believe that having a spirit in your life will really sometimes, I know for me, having a spirit in my life has saved my life. I promise you. Number 9, electronic intake. Ooh, information can be inflammation on the circuitry. The last 10 years or so, I don't even remember when the iPhone came out. It's probably 2008 or 9. That nowadays, with the electronic stimulation that we have to deal with coming in, definitely affects our brain, okay? There is definite positives to our phones and the internet. We have positives that help the life. I saw the Apple CEO talking about the epidemic of screen time and how social media is negatively affecting teenagers and kids. And he said point blank, we invented this thing to make lives better. So for me, my phone has become now my algorithm. I have figured it out with my likes, with my shares, that my algorithm is funny stuff because it's great entertainment. Nothing like laughter to help your mental health. So part of your electronic intake is you've got your favorite comedy show or your favorite comedian on hand at any time you want a little clip. Where it gets dicey is when you start scrolling mindlessly, looking for something new, looking for non-entertainment, or just seeing what other people are doing. See, mine now, my algorithm, when I'm scrolling, it's entertainment, it's learning. I follow some unbelievable smart human beings who are sharing like me. Don't fall prey to clickbait online, folks. So much clickbait with uninformed, unprofessional people who just know how to use their phone, who look good in a bathing suit, who want to sell you a ball of goods. Ultimately, at the end of the show, they want you to buy something. The internet is full of that. Really be careful of who you follow. And the intake, electronic intake, where are you getting your news? I prefer to get my news from still a newspaper. It helps me. Why? Because sometimes the front page is so devastating, destructing, and negative. I just go to the sports and the arts and leisure and the weekend. Because in my world, I'm not affected by that. I have friends who are in the markets and world news and unfortunately wars and bombings and these type of things will affect the global economy. So some of my Wall Street guys, they'll always tell me what I need to know about what's going on that's bad in the world. Because there's so much good in the world, it's not being promoted and highlighted online in our electronic intake, okay? The positives, the good, the people out there doing things that you don't know about because it doesn't make news. It's not sexy, some of these stories of goodwill towards man. They're not. So whether it's your phone, whether it's your TV, whether it's computer, one of the things that in our house, my son loves to watch video games, and he sits and he laughs, and it's a good time had by all. And I would have never thought of that as something being positive, but it allows him to unwind, and it gets him with the screen out of the face. I would highly recommend that you just be careful of how much screen time, close proximity to the face, because of the direct, through the oculus of the eye right into that brain. I know this, that when I limit my screen time, I shut it down at the right time, it seems like I do have collectively a better attitude throughout the day. So look at your electronic intake and see whether or not it's working for you or against you, especially as a sleep disruptor. Number 10, and most important to me, is purpose, is mission, is having something in your life that is purposeful. What are you as kids? Our kids get up, and I love children because their purpose sometimes is just to go about their day and have some fun, learn some things, play some sports. And then as they get older, as they get out of the play mentality, when we look at sports and athletics, then all of a sudden the purpose and the mission becomes to win the state championship, or to break an American record, or to do something along those lines in sports. Or for some kids, it's just make the varsity team. Because we see that once, I know a very dear relative of mine, when she was cut from her field hockey team in high school, that her sense of purpose dropped off, and this loved person fell into a hamster wheel of poor health, and the purpose was different. Is the purpose just to exist every day? Is the purpose to be a good son, a good daughter, a good grandpa, a good grandma, a good parent, a good coach, a good teacher, a good therapist, a good fireman, a good policeman? I've trained all these people, by the way. I've coached people in all these realms. Doctors, lawyers, nurses, across the board, I have coached and taught these people, and see all of these success stories of my former students leading these purposeful lives. If you don't have a purpose, the easiest one is just to have a good day. I'm gonna have a good day, and the easiest way is smile at somebody on your walk. Let somebody in traffic. Grab somebody and help them with their cart. I always constantly am searching the parking lot at the supermarket to see somebody struggling with their groceries, because I love grabbing their cart, because I'm the guy who loves to bench press the cart into the cage where it's supposed to go. Don't get me started about those carts. Put your carts away, folks. Be a productive, be a useful member of society. I loved Arnold Schwarzenegger's Netflix documentary. Be useful. If nothing else, you can help the world. Do you know that maybe that person you walked past on your walk and you smiled at, it might have made their day. It might have been the only smile that they got all day. You have no idea the positive impact of a positive attitude is. So if you wake up and you really want a positive attitude, go back through the list: sleep, food, nature, fresh air. movement, stress management, relationships in your village, your ear, your nose, your throat, your oral health, your spiritual grounding, your electronic intake, your purpose. Those are 10 things that can, those are going to lead me to some fantastic guests on here. I'm a good teacher, I'm a good lecturer, but I am learned over the years how to become a good interviewer and find out a lot about people. As a personal trainer, I've been doing one-on-one interviews for, many, many decades now. So I love getting to know people, and that's what this is going to be about. I'm always going to share my wisdom, but I am going to take experts and people and great stories within the realm of exercise, attitude, recovery, and nutrition, and deliver you real, understandable information that you can practice, okay? So remember your top 10. Again, I'm going to post that top 10 list. Those top 10 things, they all don't have to be every day. But if you whittle it down to 4, exercise, attitude, recovery, and nutrition, you're on your way to optimal health. Again, I am reminded, if you're somebody who's struggling, if you are at all knowing someone who has suicidal thoughts or thoughts of suicide, please do yourself a favor, do your friend a favor, dial 988, the Lifeline hotline will directly connect you to a mental health professional. I love you. I want you to succeed. Leave comments below. Please start to share this information and like it so we can get the word out to more people. Thank you, God bless you, and have a wonderful day.